But first, let's bring in my panel. Former Liberal MP in South Australia tonight, Nicolle Flint, and the media writer for The Australian, Sophie Ellsworth. Ladies, welcome to the program. I say ladies every time because I know it gets under the skin of others. Let's go to these extraordinary scenes last night, Nicolle, in Brisbane. Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price, Warren Mundine. It was an absolutely packed out venue at the Royal International Convention Centre, of course, in Brisbane, all about the No campaign. But activists, again, screaming abuse outside. No pride, they said, in genocide. This is to people like Jacinta Price and Warren Mundine. I find it highly offensive. But you saw the same thing in Adelaide, where we had Alex Antic taking vision of all the abuse he was copying, entering a similar event. Why so much hate from the Yes campaign of love and unity?
Well, Peter, I'm really not surprised. This has been the way that the left have operated for decades. When they can't make their case, when they can't make their argument, they revert to abuse. So this is where, for years and years, they've called people climate deniers or sexist, or when I was a member of the coalition, they were calling us all rape apologists, for goodness sake. And in this instance, they're calling people racist because the Yes campaign cannot make their argument based on facts and reason. So I am not at all surprised, but the big difference this time, Peter, is that the entire nation is finally seeing the left for what they are and how they operate.
Yeah, but Flinty, they're the ones that want to divide us by race. I mean, if anyone is going to be the racist, wear the racist charge, it's the Yes camp.
Of course it's the Yes camp that are ultimately arguing for what will be race inserted into our constitution. But, you know, Peter, try having that argument with any of them. They can't argue back because they're wrong. So we're on the right side of this argument, as we so often are. And I'm just pleased that the nation is finally seeing the left for what they are, incapable of making their case.
Yeah, and I tell you, the Yes camp are just getting more and more hysterical as the time goes on. I can't imagine how more hysterical they can get by the time we have the vote, but that's where we're headed. Sophie, let's go to some stats in Victoria. Out this afternoon, crime statistics. This is the year to June. There were over 500,000 criminal offences in Victoria, an increase of 7.9% from the 12 months to June last year. Also, some shocking statistics in relation to young people, kids as young as 10, home invasions, carjackings, a whole box and dice. Again, Daniel Andrews shouldn't get a $300,000 pension with numbers like that.
Well, he shouldn't, Peter, but I hate to say it, but he is entitled to that. But don't forget that we do have a police problem here in Victoria where they're trying to recruit hundreds more police officers and have been unable to do that. They're always trying to get more on the beat because the crime is going up. You only have to walk around Melbourne where we live. I think it's grubby. It's a dirty place. You can see a lot of drugs and you know, it's not a nice place to be. And I hate to put a dampener on our city, but it's not what it was. But you can blame Daniel Andrews all you like, but now is time for the opposition to stand up, as you said, Peter, and prosecute their points to actually have a shot at changing this state and bringing it back to the good state that it actually is.
I tell you, a couple of weeks ago, I was walking home from the very inner part of Melbourne to my apartment. There was a bloke on the ground. He'd had a drug overdose. An ambulance was called. He kept waking up. We think there was some influence of ice. He kept getting very violent. I mean, this is what people are living with in Melbourne.